Hello, everyone. My name is Nicholas Lamar Suter. With me today is 𝐒𝐨𝐿, and this is the rundown. So, as some people have learned, TikTok has been ordered to shut down by the 19th, which occurs, of course, midnight tonight. They will be shutting down ahead of that because they don't want to be accused of going even a second over the clock. At this point, we do anticipate that Twitter will be shutting down before the end of the night. We also think there's a decent possibility it will be back up again on Monday, sometime past noon. We'll get into the hows and the whys of that, and this situation, which has turned into a debacle, the likes of which I have not seen in a very long time. 𝐒𝐨𝐿, how are you doing?
I'm doing outstanding.
Yeah, good.
Staying warm in the desert.
Yeah, that can be a challenge at night. All right, so let's get into this and a little bit about how it started, because that's part of the weirdness. It started with a president named Donald J. Trump, who decided he wanted to end Twitter. Yes, end Twitter on August 6th, and you will find the executive order down in the description below, as well as a Supreme Court case and a few other materials that we will be referencing. You can find them in the description. He issued an executive order by authority vested in me by as president. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to move this over here and make it a little easier to read. So, by the authority vested in me as president, by the Constitution and the laws of the United States of America, including the International Emergency Economic Powers Act, the National Emergencies Act, and Section 301 of Title III of the United States Code, I, Donald J. Trump, find that steps must be taken to deal with the national emergency that comes from information and communication technology and services supply chain, specifically those of mobile apps, applications developed and owned by companies in the People's Republic of China, that they continue to threaten national security and the economy of the United States. At this time, action must be taken to address the threat posed by one mobile app, in particular, TikTok. That was an executive order issued by Donald J. Trump on August 6, 2020. It was found in the court to be unconstitutional, and it was struck down. He tried again, and it was struck down. The finding being that Trump did not, in fact, have the legal authority to do that, and a law would have to be passed that would ban TikTok in some other means, and it would have to be a law that wasn't exclusively targeting TikTok, but nonetheless somehow exclusively targeted TikTok. So Congress decided to take up the mantle and passed the, actually I've forgotten now the name of the act, but passed a law that banned any company that had over 1 million active subscribers from being owned by any country that U.S. has a hostile relationship. And they listed 4 countries: China, Russia, Iran, and, oh, dear Lord, I've forgotten the 4th. You wouldn't happen to remember the 4th, would you?
No.
All right. So any one of the 4 countries. So it's not China in particular. It's any country with whom we have a hostile relationship cannot have an app that has more than 1 million subscribers. That really effectively targeted TikTok, who was ordered to either divest themselves of their Chinese interests or shut down by the 19th. Now, we had covered previously that one of the big guys on Shark Tank had joined a group of people that had decided that they wanted to buy the app, and they have been trying to get the money necessary to do so. However, unfortunately, they were unable to buy it by the deadline. So as of this moment, it looks like they will be shutting down. The company approached soon-to-be President-elect Donald Trump and said, "We would like to buy TikTok, and we would like your support." Donald Trump said, I love TikTok. TikTok is a great company, and of course, I would support you. No, this is not a joke. He even took to Truth Social to say it. This is him on Truth Social, and let me see if I can read this now. And he posted this January 3rd. So just what are we looking at now? 14 days ago, 2 weeks ago. Why would I want to get rid of TikTok? Trump on TikTok, and he used how many views he's got and how much his voice he's got on TikTok to promote the fact that he would never want to get rid of TikTok, despite 2 executive orders trying to get rid of TikTok. Joe Biden signed this law into effect. So the law that is going to ban TikTok as of midnight tonight was signed by Joe Biden. Joe Biden appears to have had a change of heart and has said that he will not enforce the law and that TikTok may continue to operate and he will do nothing. Xander, I have a question for you, if I may. The way I learned the basic powers, 3 branches of government, the legislative branch, which creates the laws, the judicial branch, which interprets the laws, and the executive branch, which, what does the executive branch do again?
Oh, you're going to make me go back to 5th grade civics class. Oh my gosh. I think that it's supposed to enforce the law.
Enforce the laws. Okay. So now, by the way, I'm not necessarily unsympathetic. Obama made a case that was, I think, somewhat transparent nonetheless, I agreed with, which was that he was not, for example, going to go start rounding up any undocumented immigrants in the United States who hadn't committed any crimes because there were better uses of his time. Conservatives or Republicans said, well, you're ignoring the law. And to some extent, he is. But there's also a very good argument to be made for, we have limited resources and the executive branch is going to have to pick and choose which laws it takes more seriously than others. They're not all equally valuable. Nonetheless, it is a little surprising to hear Biden say, well, when I signed it, I wanted TikTok gone, but now I really don't care. So the Biden administration has said it is not going to enforce the law. People have decided that what this likely means is that TikTok will stay up. As of 4 hours ago, TikTok has said no, they will not. The reason is because they are concerned. They do have an American element. They have an American company, and that company is subject to those laws. The people who work there are subject to those laws. So Biden saying, I'm going to just not enforce it does not mean that they are not necessarily going to be held accountable should either Biden change his mind or should some new president come in who maybe would change his mind. Who the hell knows? I'm done predicting Trump. From TikTok, quote, unless the Biden administration immediately provides a definitive statement to satisfy the most critical service providers, assuring non-enforcement, TikTok will unfortunately be forced to go dark on January 19th, said the social media platform. So they still plan on going down. What they have said they're going to do is just redirect users to a web page. You will no longer be able to get the app at the App Store. You will not be able to update your current version of the app, and nobody will be able to access any of their data. TikTok has said if you are a user, they may make it so that you can download your personal data to your phone, but other than that, you will not be able to use TikTok. That is where we stand right now. Having said that, Donald J. Trump, again, in full support of TikTok because, well, look at these sexy numbers here. I mean, who can argue with that? Has also said that he's not going to enforce the law. So neither the incumbent president nor the incoming president are going to enforce the law that the incumbent president signed and the old president fought for after losing twice to get this done through executive action. He has said that at this point, he is first of all, he's not going to enforce the law. Second of all, he is inclined to give 90 days for a buyer to come up, or even maybe to let them continue. We don't know what he's going to do. There have been two interesting side effects of this. The first is that TikTok has started to hemorrhage advertisers. The reason is because advertisers do not want to be on a platform with an uncertain future, even if both American presidents have said that they're not going to enforce the law, even if they were far more specific about it. It's an uncertain future, so YouTube, Facebook, and other social media platforms are seeing a significant uptick in their ad buys as TikTok just hemorrhages advertisers. However, there's been a really very interesting secondary effect. Because there's been a surge of TikTok viewers who have decided they would like to go find another platform, and the platform that has now rocketed to the top of the Apple Store is called Rednote. It is a app that combines elements of Instagram, Facebook, and a few other social media platforms, and 3 million TikTok subscribers signed up for Rednote in one day. 3 million. Rednote is interesting because it is a reference to Chairman Mao's Red Notebook of, the Red Notebook of Chairman Mao sayings. Chairman Mao is responsible for the Cultural Revolution. For those of you interested in knowing a little bit about history, in that revolution, between 40 and 70 million people died. They executed a number of people, others just starved to death. But the Cultural Revolution was far worse in terms of the loss of human life than World War II. But it didn't involve the U.S., so most Americans have no idea. Nonetheless, he's got a red book. It's of all of his sayings, and there is an app that borrows its name from him. The 3 million users are rather naive of Chinese cultural norms, and so have been talking about rather no taboo subjects, including President Ping, including Taiwan, including homosexuality, including unionizing. And they're talking at a rate faster than the Chinese censors can actually keep up with, because so many people. So now, and the Chinese censors weren't prepared for English conversations on this level. So now what you have is a rebound effect where there seems to be this cultural exchange. As far as content control and censorship, Rednote's moderation policies are far stricter than TikTok's. CBS News found that searches like Jinping, Free Hong Kong yielded no result. Searching about Taiwan resulted only in Beijing's narrative. And the platform is currently attempting to scale up its content moderation dramatically in the face of new English content. New English content on the platform. So, but that notwithstanding, there's one other effect, and Xandring's been awfully quiet, so thank you for letting me go on my rant about this. There's been one other, and actually I will say this, let's see. NBC News did a really interesting, so this was from the Associated Press. American users asked Chinese people how they see the LGBT community and got warned that they're not allowed to ask that question. Chinese users have been trying to teach the Americans topics that they're not allowed to talk about. Meanwhile, American Chinese students have pulled out their homework and been asking people for help with their Chinese homework on this. And essentially, as we understand it, the app has now started with the hashtag TikTok refugee. They are, quote, welcoming the global village and have a total now of 8.9 million new viewers, but are struggling with the cultural differences and a lack of ability for the Chinese government to control it. So it's possible this app is going to go down pretty soon until the Chinese government can get control of it. The reason the Chinese government might want control over it is because it's a Chinese app and all of their servers and data are stored in China. So by the US banning TikTok, which kept its data and servers off of mainland China as per an agreement with the US, all of them have now gone to another app that keeps all of its data in mainland China. And from what I'm understanding, it collects a great deal more data than TikTok because it's more of an interactive platform for texting, communicating than it is just videos. So now more data is going into the hands of the Chinese faster. And that's where we stand. Is Andrew, any thoughts on the current situation?
It's a debacle. In like every way that you could think, it's a mess. I mean, from presidents deciding that they're just not going to enforce laws, which is a very dangerous precedent to set, whether you agree with the banning of TikTok or not, to all of the people then deciding, well, if we can't go to TikTok, we're going to go to Rednote of all apps. It's like, let's just make this problem even worse. And I think that it's going to be a bit ironic, maybe. I might be misusing that. If there's a cultural revolution in China because of this whole thing. From all of the Americans saying, hey, unionize, do you realize what you guys are missing out on? You way outnumber the regime. You should totally overthrow it and get a democracy.
And
so, it's...
The poor Chinese people who already use the platform are sitting there going, no, you can't talk about that. They're like, can't talk about what? Gay rights? It's like, yes, that's what you can't talk about. In fact, I'm not allowed to tell you can't talk about it. Wow. So the next obvious question is, are these guys going to be banned? Well, they used to have less than 1 million subscribers. So the law did not apply to them, and it didn't matter. Now that TikTok has shut down and they have 8 million subscribers, now the law applies to them, but it has to be in over a month, so they've got 1 month before the law is going to apply to them, and either they're going to have to divest, which they're not going to do because they're entirely in China. It's, oh my God.
It's an entirely Chinese-owned, run, everything is all Chinese app. So, yeah, it's like they're not divesting of that because it's, it's like asking us to divest of Facebook or X, or it's like, that's not going to happen. They're based here.
Yeah. So
they didn't solve anything.
No, and they made problems worse on all sides. I can only imagine the Chinese right now sitting there going, yes, we're going to get the Americans. We're going to learn all their dance moves and do all of this stuff through TikTok. And and by the way, I joke of it, but I do think there is a problem with the information there, but that's another, we've talked about that, but we may yet talk about it tonight. But anyways, they're sitting there going, we're going to get all the American dance moves on TikTok. And yeah, they're looking to get all our information. And then all of a sudden we creep in on this Rednote thing. It's like some kid is like, Daddy, why does someone here say that Chairman Mao murdered 50 million people? It's like, no, that's a typo. Oh, dear Lord. I'm not going to say it.
It's a complete and utter mess. I mean, it's like nothing was made better in any way.
So to answer the fundamental question, at this point, we believe that TikTok will shut down before the end of the night. The reason is, while Biden has said he will not enforce the law, while Trump has said he will not enforce the law, the casual statement has not satisfied them that they will not be held accountable if they don't shut down. And I think they're also aware that Apple is not satisfied. If the Apple Store isn't satisfied that hosting the app isn't going to get them in trouble, then they're going to err on the side of caution and take it down. So just by the president saying, I'm not going to enforce this law, well, what happens if Merrick Garland, whose name is on the law, he serves at the pleasure of the president. What happens if they're not going to take the risk without guarantees? So my read on this is they're going down tonight. Trump is planning, last I heard, within an hour of his inauguration, on planning 150 executive orders. 150 executive orders to be signed on Inauguration Day. We believe one of those orders is going to be to give them a 90-day extension. Since it's an executive order at that point, they should be able to come back up. So we are anticipating, this is just our educated guess, that TikTok will go down tonight. It will redirect to a web page, and it will come back Monday afternoon. That is our educated guess of what we are looking at for the future of the immediate future of TikTok. The company or the conglomerate that's interested in buying it spoke with Trump. They have already said the deal will go through at all costs. They genuinely intend on buying and owning it. Trump seems to be very interested in making a deal because that's what he does. There are rumors that Elon Musk is interested in buying it. Right now, I have zero way of telling that between conspiracy theories. It wouldn't surprise me. I really hope he does. Can I just say he owns enough already. He has destroyed social media enough already. So I don't know if it's a conspiracy theory or not. We have no evidence. We've just heard someone say, well, and he was apparently asked about it and said, no, I'm not interested, which means exactly as much as you think it means. It's meaningless. So, all right.
Yeah,
so that's where we
two reasons. Because when I originally thought about this, I was like, well, there's nothing that's really going to force. There's no sword of Damocles hanging over their head to force the app to shut down. It'd just be the app stores won't sell it. If you already had it, though, you'd still, unless TikTok themselves shut everything down. And at first I was like, they probably won't do that because, both presidents have said they're not enforcing this. It kind of sort of makes sense for Joe Biden, I guess. It's like, look, he's got 1 day left. Like, he's really going to try and do something about this. So that one, I'm like, okay, yeah, we're just going to push this off to the incoming president, which I'm fine with. Since again, it's just a day.
Yeah.
But then Trump saying, well, I'm not going to enforce this either. And I'm like, okay, well, I've got a bit of a problem with that because you actually have a duty to enforce the laws of the land. You don't get to choose not to enforce them. And I've had a huge problem with that with regards to like border policy. So I was thinking, they probably just aren't going to do it. Trump gets in, they'll probably give the extension. They've got a buyer supposedly lined up and all this stuff. So it's like, I doubt they're going to interrupt their services. But then I thought about it a little bit more, and then you also mentioned that no, they said they're going to, and I'm like, well, they're probably trying. It's like that might be a smart move because if you shut it down, even because it is just going to be for a day, you're going to generate quite a bit of public pressure, political pressure to try and get this fixed because all of those people no longer have Twitter. And it's actually going to be shut down. They're going to be directly affected. That's the fastest way to motivate people, is to do something that directly affects them. So I was like, actually, that might be a smart move for them to try and to actually shut it down for just the day and force all of those people to experience life for a day without TikTok. I think that if that was their plan, it backfired a little bit with them TikTok users deciding they're going to go to Rednote of all damn. Does nobody pays attention to history. Nobody pays attention to references. So yeah, that might have backfired a little bit if they were trying to get political pressure, because maybe they're like, hey, this is actually kind of cool, and forget about TikTok, and then the whole being deprived of it for a day, loses its impact, because all these people are getting motivated about something else, and their attention's being drawn by something else, so they're not sitting there, jonesing for their social media app for the entire day. So I think that there's two things that they're looking at when it comes to that. One, they don't have any actual assurances, so they could, they may say, hey, we're not going to do this. Advertisers still aren't going to stick their necks out, because anybody at any point could change their mind and come after them.
Yep.
And two, I do think that they were probably thinking that this would bring some more political pressure to bear against the administration to get a deal signed, to get an extension signed, so that this platform doesn't go down. And then everything just went sideways, because, well, you can't really predict what people are going to do.
Yeah. Well, and I like the point that you made also, which is that, if there's one way to get a president motivated to get off his ass and do something, it's to get millennials pissed at him. And if there's one way to get millennials pissed at him, it's to shut off TikTok.
Yeah, and it's not an insignificant number of people that use TikTok. I mean, 160 million users. That's a lot of people that you could potentially piss off.
All right, and let me. We've got Dunk on You, $20. Howdy, everyone! Thank you so much, Dunk on You. You've always been supporting us, and I really appreciate it. And it's a huge help. It's nice to see you on every stream. Sometimes it's Ukraine, sometimes it's not, but you're always here. And we notice, and we really do appreciate it. Thank you. Duncan, you also gifted 5 memberships. And Aussie T, who's a member for 8 months, said, hi, Nick. Hi, 𝐒𝐸𝐿𝐴𝐶𝐸. Hi, team. Good to see you. I said Aussie. Aussie T, good to see you. Thank you so much for that message. And let's see. All right, I can go to all right, now so this may be something that and this actually would make sense, and I was unaware of, and I am learning from our mods and the live chat, which is that kids went to a Rednote deliberately, not by accident. So ostensibly, I would assume that would be explicitly because the information is held on China, and it's I'm assuming that's what I had not heard that. But then again, I know this is going to come as a shock to most people, but I'm not actually all that hip to millennials, and I'm not keyed in. You'd think it's the shirt. You'd think, but it's the gray hair. I'm getting old. I'm not a boomer, but I can easily be mistaken for one. So that would honestly, truth be told, if that's the case, which it sounds like is what I'm being told by our top 2 mods. That's a fucking brilliant move. I like that more than the idea that it was an accident. And shows what happens when you fuck with people.
Yeah, there would have had to have been some sort of concerted effort to, because who in the hell even knows this thing exists? So yeah, there had to have been a bit of a campaign to get people to move specifically to that.
Let's see. Titan said, Nick, you are smarter than I will ever be. Well, you don't have to say that. It's probably not true. I mean, I know why you say that, but we can keep it between ourselves. All right. So there you go. We learn on the show as we go sometimes too. We'll just this is why they have what's called post. We fix it up in post. It's just going to sound like we knew this the whole time. We're going to re-edit the video, and it's like Xander and I were both like completely clued in from the beginning. And then we'll put it on TikTok. No, we'll figure out where to put it later. All right. So, any final thoughts on? Is somebody? It's Dorito. Of course, it's Dorito.
This is absolutely relevant to the topic at hand, since we are dealing with China. and things going on with Chinese apps and etc. So my final thought for today, I get a pass because we're dealing with China. May you live in interesting times.
Yes, you do get a pass because I can't argue against that. On this one hand and the other with Mao.
My 2025 bingo card, man, I'm having to like rapidly print off a whole bunch of new ones because holy crap.
Between the 28th Amendment and somebody said just that was not on my bingo card. That wasn't even on the backup of bingo cards. It's like I didn't just declared we've ratified a new amendment.
I mean, someplace in California burning to the ground. I mean, that's on every single one of the cards because that's almost like the free spot in the middle because that's going to happen. It happens every year. But man, some of this other stuff is just like, wow, we're really pulling out the stops here. We got to get some obscure shit to happen this year just so that people don't make bingo.
Thank you, Maya. I got that. I will definitely catch up on that. So I will get educated on that topic, and depending on what happens, we are. So, what's coming next for In Time? That's a really good question. Assuming there are no executive orders shutting us down, who knows at this point? We will be covering at least part of the inauguration. I will be honest, and I know this is going to come as a shock to you. I have absolutely zero interest in the inauguration. My suspicion is that it's going to be a violence-free day. That's my hope. There are reasons why people are concerned. I share some of those concerns, but they're not overwhelming enough that I'm not worried about it. Having said that, we'll be ready if there's any breaking news on that front. I do suspect that after he has taken the oath and as soon as he gets his Cheeto-laden fingers on the desk in the Oval Office, there's going to be a very large number of changes made by executive order to our common understanding of what constitutes the United States. So we will probably be getting ready to go live with that, and it could be rather chaotic because I don't know what's coming and how quickly. As I said, he's already prepared he's hitting the ground running. He is hitting the ground running. So Monday, like I said, the pomp and circumstance, we've never covered an inauguration before. I don't see any reason to cover this one, but I think we're going to see something very different after the inauguration than we've ever seen before. So we'll Monday, I think we'll probably be going live with something. We'll have our regular Tuesday show and our Thursday downtime. So you'll be seeing all of that next week. Please do like and subscribe. We don't say that because we like saying it and because other YouTubers saying it. We say it because it really actually does help. If it didn't help, we'd keep our mouths shut. So please do like and subscribe. And if you like the content, despite the fact I'm a boomer who apparently... Okay. If you like the content and the occasional dad joke, please share it with other people. We really appreciate Dunk on You. Thank you so much, Aussie T. Thank you, all of you who have commented, and thank you, Titan and Brigwin and Maya for maybe giving us an education on something. I think kind of, sort of. Whoa, look at the time. We really got to get going. So thank you all so much, and we look forward to seeing you. No. Do we look forward to seeing them on Monday?
Oh, I look forward to seeing the audience on Monday. It's always fun to see the audience.
Well, that's true. So I look forward to seeing them on Monday. I'm just not looking forward to Monday.
Yeah, I'm not really looking forward to Monday either, and for a whole host of reasons. Not just that we're getting part due, and I'm going to be going into the belly of the beast, right into the heart of the LA fires. Okay, not quite, but I will be pretty close to them.
Oh, that's right, you will.
Yeah, I'm going to the Port Long Beach, which is just south of the Palisades. So if the winds were to really kick up again, it's theoretically possible that the fire could actually reach the Port of Long Beach. I mean, it is right along the coast. Winds would blow it right that direction, but it's really unlikely. But if I see anything interesting, I'll see if I can get some footage to report on.
Yeah, get some footage, and we'll downtime. We'll certainly love to yeah. And listen, if you end up having to run, just get the footage. We'll be like, look at how he runs. Look at the fire over there. Look at that.
Yeah, you're all you're going to see is my blurry face as I'm
run, Forrest, run. Okay, yeah. I'm sorry, you were saying.
Yeah, that won't last. That won't last very long. I'll just curl up and die at that point. I'm a fat, lazy trucker. I think I'm running anywhere. And not only am I delivering to the Port of Long Beach, but then I'm also reloading. And this is going to be interesting. We've been doing some batteries because they've been expanding and wanting to build battery electrical storage systems, or BESS for short. And they've been running whole hog with these. And these are very large batteries. They weigh upwards of 86,000 pounds each battery. And there's been a lot of places, especially in Texas, but in many other places, including Canada, some in Louisiana, some in Alabama. So they've been going in lots and lots of places. And there was recently another fire that broke out. I almost called you to see about going live with it because it was, and then I looked at where it was, and I was like, well, it's not really tied to the LA fires. But there was a fire that broke out just south of San Francisco, and what is purported to be the world's largest battery energy storage system.
Oh.
So it caught on fire, and I've heard conflicting reports. I need to go back and see the updates. One place said no, it was the manufacturing warehouse that caught on fire. Another news source said no, it was actually one of the battery storage facilities that was storing the batteries that caught on fire. So now I'm kind of wondering, I was just thinking it's like, well, I'm delivering at the Port of Long Beach, and then I'm picking up a battery coming from China to go deliver someplace in Imperial, California. It's going to Imperial, California.
Oh, God.
So, yeah, now we got all this stuff going on, and I'm oddly connected we're now trying to ban Chinese things, and now we're taking them batteries from China. And
has the battery already been paid for?
Yes, or it wouldn't be shipping.
Okay. I'm just wondering if it's passed, because I'm sitting there going, like, if the tariffs kick in on Monday, and then they tell you, no, sorry, there's an extra tariff on this that the company hasn't paid, so you can't load it. I was like, oh my God.
The battery the load has already been ordered. However, the battery, as of yesterday, had not cleared customs. So maybe.
Dear God. Monday's going to be happen. Monday's going to be a long day.
Not looking forward to Monday, and I am kind of curious. There has been a slow growing movement of people not wanting these BESS facilities installed in it's a classic example of not my backyard. There's quite a lot of support for having something like that, and I think that they actually are. I wish the battery technology was better. However, if you're going to make a wind or solar project really viable, you do need that kind of storage, because the wind doesn't blow all the time and the sun doesn't shine all the time. So you do need to have some way of storing a lot of that power when the wind's blowing good and hard and get nice bright sunlight. You got to be able to store excess power to be able to pull it out, or they really aren't very useful. So I'm not opposed to the idea of trying to do this, but so many places are now getting, well, I don't want that in my backyard. What if the battery goes up and all the toxic fumes? And so we're seeing a lot more organized protest against and movements against trying to install these. However, I'm not sure I haven't been particularly worried about them as far as really shutting projects down, because they're so far it's the rural people, because most of these are put out in the middle of nowhere, with the exception of the one at Moss Point, California. That seems to be like right in the middle of a lot of stuff, but it was originally a gas powered electric power plant that they've converted. But now, when you see instances like very large battery facilities burning, and you get a whole bunch of lithium batteries like that, I mean, there was an accident on, I believe it was I-15, might have been US 95. I can't remember which one. Wow, but it was near Vegas, where a driver took a corner too fast, rolled his truck with one of these batteries on it, and the thing caught on fire in the accident. And they couldn't put it out. They literally just dug a hole off the side of the road in the desert and dumped the thing in there, and it burned for a long time. They didn't even try to put it out. So yeah, I mean, and the fact that a lot of these are coming from China, and most of the electrical infrastructure stuff that we've gotten from China, I shouldn't say most. I need to be very careful in how I state this for what is factually known.
Yes.
The electrical infrastructure components, such as charge switch controllers and transformers, electrical transformers, that have been checked. The software has contained a backdoor that allowed access to those systems coming from China. They have not checked all of them, and I don't believe they've checked any of these batteries. However, those two components that I just listed have been checked. They have been found to have backdoors in them. And we stopped briefly ordering. There was an order that came out to stop ordering these from China. But that suddenly kind of went away in the background, and we are now ordering them from China again. So at least those two are known to have backdoors into the system.
And that is the interesting thing. It's again, I do understand the arguments with TikTok, but having said that, we know that China's ability to access IP information, or their ability to access classified U.S. information, exceeds that of Russia. And they have been installing backdoors in material that they send to us. And it's sort of like there are so many really much bigger problems that we know that China has been doing, and we're focusing on TikTok.
Something that you agree to.
Well, and
not that anybody reads those, but
yeah. Well, if it's between War and Peace and reading Apple or the iTunes, user agreement, I'm going to read War and Peace. It takes less time.
That will probably make a lot more sense, even if it was translated, or even if it was transcribed into German. It would probably still make more sense.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you, 𝐒𝐨𝐿, for joining us. Thank you, everyone in the audience. We need to do a show on the China stuff, because that's what they've been doing. A lot of people, it sounds like conspiracy theory stuff, and it's not. It's very real.
China has made a lot of its economic gains and a centerpiece of its economic policy to literally rip off as much intellectual property as possible, which means that they've got some pretty robust hacker groups to try and get this information. So that's just China.
In terms of propaganda, nobody beats Russia. In terms of military might, the U.S. is the strongest, and we spend more than every other country combined. In terms of hacking and stealing and controlling IP and devices and all that other stuff, China has every other country. And I saw a thing, I wanted to try to get it for this show, and I wasn't able to, that basically showed essentially that they're spending more than every other country combined on their ability to steal IP from the U.S. and other countries, so that we do a research on the next generation stealth fighter, and they just steal it from. They're not spending money on research and development. They're spending money on stealing ours. It's deserving of an entire show. Not going to happen tonight. But don't worry. And I want everyone to be clear. As dangerous as all of that stuff is, and it's very dangerous, the TikTok thing is solved for a few hours, and then it'll be right back up again, I guess.
Yeah, we thank God we put down that threat.
We put down the TikTok. The millennials, that'll keep the millennials in line. I'm going to go hide under my bed now. Don't know what the millennials will do, but I'm pretty sure they'll be targeting me.
I'm going to enjoy my night. I'm going to wish that I could buy a fifth of some really fine aged whiskey to drink all day Monday, because I am not looking forward to Monday.
Note to all in-time staff, the requirement against drinking on air or behind the scenes will be lifted for Monday. I don't expect anybody to be sober for that show. I would not force that on anyone.
I unfortunately have to be, because there's no way I'm going to try. Yeah. There's no way I'm going to drive a semi truck down the road smashed.
Yep.
That's just irresponsible. I may be a right-leaning, quasi-conservative libertarian, but not even I am going to stoop to the level of drinking while driving a 80,000-pound vehicle. Actually, I'm only 73,000 pounds this time, but I will be picking up something. Hopefully, if I can load a battery Monday.
You'll see if it's not illegal. If it's not illegal, yeah. All right. Well, thank you all, and we will see you almost certainly on Monday, barring anything else. Like I said, we're expecting at this point, and nothing's changed. TikTok will close tonight. We expect with less. We have a very high degree of confidence that TikTok will close tonight before the 19th. They've said they're closing on the 18th, so they'll close tonight. We believe that with less confidence, but still over 50%, that they will reopen on Monday towards the end of the day by executive order of Donald Trump, who will exculpate them from this law for at least 90 days. So that's what we are expecting, and thank you all for joining us, and we will see you Monday, and just bring something to drink, because it's going to be... have a good night, all.